I want you to think of a place that you find mind-numbingly boring and uninspiring. Maybe if you're not a makeup person, that place could be Sephora. If you hate home DIY, that place could be Bunnings hardware store. For me, I'm an art noob, so my whole life I've found art galleries really boring. It can even be something simpler, like maybe you could say your local bus stop that you hit up every day during your morning commute. These are places and situations where once you're there, you are inspired to take out your phone and scroll. What if I told you that this morning I discovered a game that will not only make these places more tolerable, but in fact, thoroughly enjoyable. This game broke my brain open, made me see the world like a baby. You know how babies are endlessly fascinated by the stupidest, most mundane shit? Yeah, we're gonna inject some of that childlike wonder back into you. Disclaimer, we gotta be realistic. If you actually want to go through the world like a baby, you're gonna have to drop acid or meditate lots and achieve enlightenment or some shit. I am gifting you a 2-minute game, and so it's gonna give you but a sliver of childlike wonder. But to be honest, that's all I'm asking for, personally. Can I get in my soapbox and be real with you for just a sec? People with too much childlike wonder, they're f***ing annoying. I know someone, let's just call them Susan. I'll be walking down the street with them and I wish I was exaggerating right now, but all of a sudden they'll be like, "Oh, look at this dandelion in the crack of the pavement." And then barely 60 seconds later, they are like, "Oh, look at this pigeon's plumage." And then barely 60 seconds later, again, they are losing their shit at a window. This person literally has an orgasm every 5 meters, and that shit's exhausting. Girl, we are just going to Target right now. Can you keep it together, please? I don't need that in my life. I don't want that in my life. I want just a sprinkle. I want a sprinkle of childlike wonder, just a sprinkle to help me get through Tuesday, because otherwise, life's a slog. Okay, onto the details of the game. By the way, I did not invent this game. I discovered it from this book. This book basically consists of, I think, 131 mini games. And the author claims that if you do these mini games, you will get back your childlike wonder, your curiosity, your attention span, your creativity, all that good stuff. The game that I chose to do is called Look Slowly. The way the game works is in the title. So step 1, you go to that really boring, uninspiring place that you thought of from the beginning of this video. You pick a handful of things from that place and you look at them slowly. The author recommends 5 things, and looking at those things for 10 minutes each. I will admit that I failed at this challenge. So I went to an art gallery. I think I picked 4 art pieces and I stared at them for around 8 minutes each. The reason I'm telling you this is because I don't want you to feel bad if you fail at this challenge like I did. Even though I failed, I couldn't make it to 10 minutes, I genuinely feel like a changed woman after playing this game, which is why I'm here making this video right now. This happened this morning and I just want to share this shit with the world. I personally have always found visual arts to be quite inaccessible and confusing, to say the least. I'm sure I can't be the only one who's experienced this. I'll be going through an art gallery with a tour guide, then they gesture to a bed sheet looking thing and they'll be like, "This sheet is worth $10 million. I just don't get it, and I just check out mentally. But for the first time in my life, I found myself having fun at an art gallery. This game, it requires you to have sustained long attention and focus on one thing. I remember feeling like as I was doing this, it was hard at first, but then eventually I just stumbled upon beauty in the most random, unexpected places. And if that is not me experiencing childlike wonder and curiosity, I don't know what is, bro. Warning! Whilst I do encourage you to try this at least once in your life, not least because anyone can kind of do it anywhere, anytime for free. But big warning, okay? It is easy, but it's also not gonna feel easy in the beginning. How do I explain this? Okay, wait, I need a diagram. Hey, I'm back. I went away, I got some water, and I drew these. Yay for visual learning. When you play this game of Look Slowly, in my experience, you're gonna feel a range of emotions, both positive and negative. Some of the negative ones include things like boredom, distraction. I remember feeling some anger and frustration too. And then some of the positive ones include things like discovery, awe, curiosity, fun, all the ingredients you need to get childlike wonder, basically. A big warning, at the start of this game, you will probably only be feeling the negative emotions. I know for me, when I started that 10-minute countdown, pretty much immediately had thoughts of, this is bloody pointless, what am I doing here, I'd rather be anywhere else but here right now, but you're gonna stick with it, and because at a certain point, oh, by the way, I should explain the axes. The y-axis is your ER, your emotional response, and the x-axis is time in minutes, so we got 10 minutes in total, right? So as you can see, you're gonna start off feeling like absolute crap. At a certain point, you're gonna hit a threshold, and on the other side of that threshold is all those amazing positive feelings. For me, that first threshold was at around the 2-minute mark-ish, but you're gonna have to go through the early stages first in order to hit that threshold and get to the other side. You may also find that after you've hit that threshold, you're feeling good, you're having all the positive feelings, but then slowly, very, very slowly, negative feelings start creeping into you again. Before you know it, you're back down here feeling like crap. But just stick with it, diva, because what I found is that there are multiple thresholds. So you may find that you'll hit another threshold a couple of minutes later, and before you know it, back feeling amazing, having the best time ever, full of that childlike wonder. So what I'm getting at here is that you gotta persist, sis. I'm no scientist, although I was in a previous life. That's a story for another video. I'm no scientist at the moment, but if I were to use my scientific knowledge and education to hypothesize about why this simple staring game is so effective at generating and hacking into that childlike wonder and curiosity, if I could summarize my hypothesis into one sentence, it would be this: if you want to see the world in a new way, you gotta see the world in a new way. If you want to discover new things and see the world differently, you have to go through the world differently. And I remember in this book, the author says that on average, when people go to art galleries, for example, they look at each piece for, on average, 17 seconds. So if the world is looking at things for 17 seconds, what happens when you look at those things for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes? We don't know. We gotta explore and find out. So go forth and try this game. Let me know how you go if you do. I hope it gives you a sprinkle of childlike wonder back into your dreary adult lives. And if it doesn't, this whole video was satire.